my heart is filled. Number one, I am so grateful for the opportunity just to be in front of all of you all, because what I'm about to say, just like the other speakers, is not just for this room, it's for the voices outside of this room. For a moment, I would like each of you all to lighten up just a little bit. Let's go back to childhood. Let's go back to school. Let's think about Saturday morning cartoons. That's what we all wanted, right? We really didn't care when we were in kindergarten about what was going on in our mom or dad's life. Nope, we wanted Saturday morning cartoons. We worked in school all week long. Why? So that we could be in front of the television. You know, for many of you all, we didn't have cable. We didn't have 600 stations to choose from. It was your basic NBC, ABC, 479. It was about 5 channels. And that was, again, when the children were the remote control, using the little rabbit ears. But we all couldn't wait to get in front of our favorite superhero. Today, I want to show you how every child in the classroom is a superhero. If we all look right now at the public school system, and we look at the classroom, and we see 22 to sometimes 30 children in one classroom. In the current system that we have, every single one of those children are just like a flower. Every single one of them, they've got potential. They can grow. We never know what they're going to turn into. The problem is that our education model currently is watering all of those children, all those plants and flowers at the exact same pace. We are giving every single one of those children the same amount of sunshine and the same amount of water. Well, guess what? That doesn't work. Currently, we are in a 30% rise of mental health problems in our school system. Is this not evident that our system is broken? But no, we still overwater hostas, and those are plants for you gentlemen or ladies that don't know, that only grow inside. But instead, if we put them out in the Florida sun, they're going to bake, they're going to wither, and they're going to die. And that is what is happening to most of our children in the public school system currently. If they do not fit the model, then they are the outliers. If they do not fit the robotic system that we are still using, then there's a problem with the children. I'm here to tell you there's no problem with any of those children. We have a broken system. I would like to tell you a little story about this amazing little boy with wonderful dimples. And of course, his namesake is over superheroes. He was neurotypical, developing all the way up until they were 1 year old. And at his first birthday, he was eating cake, and he was, "Mommy, bottle, up, down." And that was in August. But by the time Thanksgiving came around, where we should all be wonderfully grateful and thankful, that little boy was gone. His voice, his eye contact, everything just gone into his own little world. That's a case right now for 1 in 36 children in the United States, according to the CDC. 1 in 36 children are currently on the autism spectrum disorder diagnosed. Now keep in mind, those are children that are diagnosed. That also doesn't include ADHD, attention deficit disorder, hyperactivity, obsessive compulsive disorder, defiance disorder. I call it the alphabet soup. It's every alphabet that administrators need to add in order for them to say that they are still doing the best job they can for our kids. Instead of being the servants to our students in the classroom, we just give them more labels. Today, I'm going to give you a different way of looking at education. I'm going to give you a way to look at it just like we changed physics. In the last 50 years, we went from Newtonian physics, that means looking at the mass, looking at this big rock, looking at this wonderful student, to the quantum. In quantum mechanics, otherwise called quantum theory, it is the study of the smallest particles, the minutia, the part that the current public school system is told to avoid. So most people are not trained in what our teachers are trained in. Most of you here didn't go to school to be teachers, but you trust the public education system with our children and our future. Did you realize that most teachers do not get classroom management training when they go to school? So what is classroom management? That means I'm going to have 10 kids, all with different learning styles. But I'm not going to tell that teacher how to handle that. Instead, I'm going to tell the teacher that every single one of those kids needs to pass a test. Because if they don't pass the test, then your pay will be affected. So what are we doing? We're teaching our kids to memorize, but we're not teaching them to learn. So just like when we were getting ready to have me come out and we got the wonderful warning, please turn your cell phones off. Please make sure the cell phones are turned off. Well, you know what those are, right? Those are mini computers. All of our children have access to mini computers. I don't know about you. I was raised in a time that we had to go to the library, and that wasn't a field trip. That was a system called the Dewey Decimal System, you know, the card catalog. We all laugh because those are things we were accustomed to growing up. Children look at that as a relic now. Oh, you Gen Xer, what are you talking about? What is that, the Dewey Decimal System? Yeah, why? Because we all have access now to a computer right in our hand. All of our children need not memorize any longer because they have technology that is available to advance them. Physics has advanced into the quantum. Technology has advanced into personalized mini computers at your hand. But what is going on in the public school system? Nothing has changed from the time that every single one of you, and I'm looking at each one of you, I know that your superhero might have been Batman. Your superhero might have been Spider-Man. And yours might have been Hawaii Five-0. I got you, though. But we all had superheroes. Today, our children come in kindergarten talking about Dr. Strange and the multiverse. I teach to my first graders quantum theory because they already know the terminology. My teachers need to be able to get up to the level that my children are in. And that's what the public school system needs to do. That little boy that I was telling you about happens to be my North Star. That little boy ended up giving me the strength and the courage to open up my own education platform, to prove to the public school system that it was broke and that we could find a way to make it work. You know what always comes up? Just like in our wonderful presenter previous, $14 trillion we spend in trying to prove something that we already know. That $14 trillion could have gone into our public school system. That $14 trillion could have gone into training our teachers how to handle our high vibrating children. You see, when we talk about the quantum, we start talking about those little molecules that are moving. We start talking about atoms and protons and neutrons and electrons. And you see how energy just keeps going? I'm already feeling it, and I can feel you all. But in the quantum, we have this thing called the uncertainty principle. And in the uncertainty principle, it means that until you see something, until you observe it, every possibility is infinite. But no, our kids come in with IEPs, individual education plans. So our teachers already look at this child and already put limits on them. In the public school system currently, what most people don't realize is as a teacher, you are told to teach to the 80th percentile of your class. You see, I'm coming with knowledge that the administrators don't want you to know, because this is how the system keeps running. John Taylor Gatto, in his book, Weapons of Mass Instruction, called out why we have the public school system and why it is the way it is. And like everything, the momentum was in the right place during the time of the Industrial Revolution. not where we're at right now. During the Industrial Revolution, we needed factory workers. From a time that there was used to Sunday school. Sunday school was where you went and you learned mathematics and you learned reading and you learned writing, because the rest of the week, we were working the family business. We were gardeners, we were farmers, we were bricklayers, we were hunters, we were gatherers, we were butchers. But when the Industrial Revolution came around, we needed workers and we needed babysitters. So the public school system was founded. So today, in 2024, what happens? Our children get on the school bus, they go to school, they're told to sit down, they're told to wait, they're told to tell, show, do with the teacher. I'm going to tell you how to learn, you're going to learn this way, and then you're going to memorize what I say, and then we're going to take a test. And as long as you pass the test, guess what? I don't care if you remember it. What? How does that work? Look at our statistics. Where's the United States standing currently in education? That's where your evidence is. What I am suggesting is what we actually put into play. With over 10 years and over 1,500 families, all of neurodivergent learners, not neurotypical, superheroes. Superheroes with infinite possibilities. Every single one of those students has their own academic plan. We teach every single one of those students the way they learn. And we still hit all the standards. So how is this not being implemented into our school systems? Why are we still teaching our kids that you have to learn to sit for 4 hours? And when the bell goes, then we get up. Then we follow everybody in the wonderful little line. Where's our free thinkers? Where's creativity? No. If you're a free thinker or if you're creative, you are the behavioral problem. You are the outlier. Well, guess what? All of my kids are outliers. Every single one of my kids, and I say that meaning every child in this world that is neurodivergent is my child. Why? Because someone needs to advocate for them. I'm going to send you all out of this room eventually on a mission. But for right now, I want to tell you about that little boy. That little boy that didn't talk. The little boy that I had to have an IEP written to make sure that he used proper language when all he was doing was being his authentic self. That little boy who didn't speak in the way the public school wanted him to until he was 6 years old. Got his associates in psychology when he was 18. He's doing his student teaching right now because he doesn't know if he wants to go into the clinical side or the academic side. That's the quantum guy. Today, I changed this entire speech because I was sitting there in that back row and I was listening to our presenters talking about taking the leap. Don't worry about those little minutiae. Take the leap, take the jump. Take the jump into healing all the generational baggage that comes on to us. Imagine our children. And then we got to hear about survivors and how they made that part of their mission and it gave them strength. And I started thinking about my kids. My kids that everyone has said are the outliers. These kids, what are they going to do? They just won't sit down. They won't listen. Sometimes we had to teach them laying down on the floor. They're our future. These are our saviors, our kids. Those kids that are sitting in the classroom that are saying, I can't sit down for 6 hours. Well, guess what? None of you all can do, right? But yet we tell our children that you need to sit down. And if you don't, well, then you're on that red, yellow, and green. Red means you're the behavior problem. We're going to have a talk. And we're going to publicly humiliate you in front of your class. Yellow means, watch out. I got my eyes on you. And green means, you're following the little system and you're just the perfect little boy or girl or they or them. I want everyone to be in code red. And I've seen it. I have some amazing teachers in this wonderful state of Florida that can do it. because they do not teach to the 80th percentile. They teach to the top 10 and the bottom 10 of the percent. Do you know why? Because there's this thing called quantum entanglement. And quantum entanglement means, just like all of us in this classroom here today, because that's what this is, we're all learning. Every step that we take is a learning moment. Going to the restaurant, learning moment. Walking to the bathroom in this wonderful environment is a learning moment. We see all kinds of things as we walk. We all people watch. But when we start having our children be afraid of making the wrong decision, afraid of being the one that's pointed out, then the learning moment is lost. So, I tell all the teachers out there today, top 10 and bottom 10, teach to them. Do you know why? Because those 80 percentiles, the ones that wouldn't raise their hands, they're going to find their family in the classroom. And instead of being in the 80th percentile, you're going to watch them be in the 90th and 100th percentile. And those students, the bottom 10%, won't feel alone. They'll find family and other students that can help them grab the concepts. The ones that were afraid to raise their hand, they will raise up their friend. It's just like eating broccoli. Parents, we could tell our kids all day, eat the green veggies. But as soon as little Johnny sits behind little Robert and he sees him eating all those green vegetables, watch how quickly, because that's called peer engagement. And that's what we need in our school system. We are all here quantumly entangled today. All of us. Why? Because we've all heard personal stories. I watched the hands raise. So I know that all of us have one of those items that was up on the board earlier. I know all of us know someone or someone that has fought with addiction. And I know every single one of us sitting in here today has been afraid to take the leap. You know, when I started speaking, because of my wonderful little North Star, I used to tell families, all I want to do is give hope. Because when I talk to parents, they're normally beat up. They feel like they've done something wrong. They've failed their child. And I have to spend 6 to 9 months because the parent's in crisis. Let alone the child, the parent. So if we tell those parents there is nothing wrong with that child, he's vibrating at a different level, we got to figure out how to vibrate with him. We need to take the time to look at the intellectual child, the social child, and the emotional child. You see, they're all the same child. They're all quantumly entangled. I don't use the word hope anymore. Do you know why? Hope gives leeway to failure. Our kids are our future. If we do not make this change, we will repeat the past. We must start with our kids, and change must happen now.